The following is tape number 8 on the Nectar of Devotion series, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded between October 20th and November 14th, 1972, in Vrindavan, India.
Bhakti begins when one is actually liberated from the influence of the modes of material nature. That is real bhakti. Otherwise, when we are in training, that is called prakita bhakti. Actually, we are in the material state, but we are being trained up. The deity worship, this is following the rules and regulations under the instruction of spiritual master or Vedic injunction. This is training period. But even in this training period, if one is sincere and serious, he is liberated. He is liberated. It is so nice. Krishna consciousness is so nice that even in the training period, although he is not mature, and even one falls immature state, there is no loss. That is also confirmed by Narad Muni. Tattva sadharmam charanam bhujam bhari patit tato jati apakka. There is a verse like this, I don't exactly remember, that if one is engaged in Krishna consciousness and without being mature, somehow or other, if he falls down, there is no loss. Whereas other persons who are sticking to their sadharma but has no idea of Krishna consciousness, he does not gain anything. These are the statements of Narada. Therefore, our position should be, our real active life begins when we begin to serve Krishna with our senses without being designated, without being situated in designation. This is transcendental state. Therefore, a bhakta, Vaishnava should not be considered that he is coming from European group or this group or that group. No. Vaishnava jati buddhi. Vaishnava should not be considered belonging to any jati. Vaishnava arche siladhi gurusu naramati. It's like we worship deity. Everyone knows that deity is made of stone. But do we worship the stone? Do we construct so big temples for worshipping a piece of stone? No. Unless one has got this conception that here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sakshat Brijandanandan. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Jagannath temple and immediately fainted. He saw the Sakshat Brijandanandan Hari Krishna immediately. So, we have to learn how to see Vaishnava and Vishnu. That is Krishna consciousness movement. That means we have to purify our senses, then we can see Krishna always. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayant jang shyama sundaram achinta gunasta rupam govindam adipurusam tamahang bhajan. One has to smear the eyes with the ointment of love. How to love Krishna? Then one can see Krishna always within his heart. And one who has learned this art, how to see Krishna within himself, within his heart, always, Krishna certifies he is the topmost yogi. Yogi naam api sarvesa. Madgata antaratmana sadhyavan bhajati jomam same juktatam. These are clear things. There is no hazy idea. Everything is clear. We have to become designation-less, free from designation. We shall forget Not that here are some foreigners, pick up some quarrel with them and try to drive them away, why they have come. So many nonsense things are going on. For want of actual spiritual education, this is not good, at least for Vrindavan. This is not good. People have not been educated properly with the Vrindavan spirit. Therefore, things are happening like that. Sarvapadhi vinimuktam. How to engage the senses, being free from designation in the service of the Lord. That is Vrindavan life. That is Vrindavan atmosphere. If there is any other purpose than this, then it is very difficult to utilize the opportunity, the fortune of living in Vrindavan. One has to be designationless. Gone.
As long as one identifies himself as belonging to a certain family, a certain society, or a certain person, he is said to be covered with designation. When one is fully aware that he does not belong to any family, society, or country, but is eternally related to Krishna, he then realizes that his energy should be employed not in the interests of so-called family, society, or country, but in the interests of Krishna. This is purity of purpose and the platform of pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness.
So, our purpose, the Krishna consciousness movement, is started with this summary idea, that nobody should think himself as belonging to certain family or sect or religion or country or nation. All these designations have created havoc in the world. It's false designation. When I think that this country is mine, it is a false designation. Country is not mine. I am a guest here. If I stay in a country, in a place, for say 20 years, 50 or 100 years, does it mean that it belongs to me? Because they have no Krishna conscious idea, they are misled in thinking in that way. Some group of men are thinking that this is our country, we are American, we are Indian, we are German. This is the false illusion. Actually everything belongs to Krishna. Krishna says, Bhoktam Jagadavasam Sarvalokamayasram. He is the proprietor. But because people are not educated in Krishna consciousness, they are thinking, I am the proprietor. Aham mameti janasya mohoyam. This aham mama, increasing the aham mama, is illusion, is maya. And that is going on. Therefore, there is great need of spreading Krishna consciousness in the human society. Those who are actually welfare workers, they should come forward and join this movement to spread it. Actually, it is being accepted very nicely. Although not nicely, they have begun to accept it all over the world. That is our experience. And if we present the philosophy in correct viewpoint, people will accept it. And people from all parts of the world will come to Vrindavan. Because they are hearing about Vrindavan, about Krishna naturally. They are very much anxious to visit. But if we do not receive them nicely, if we remain sectarian, it will be an unfortunate thing. That is my request. Those who are inhabitants of Vrindavan, they should be prepared to receive these foreigners who are being educated in Krishna consciousness. They should come here to visit. So they should be received, they should be welcome. That is my request. Yes. Next.
Characteristics of pure devotional service. In the Shrimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 29th chapter, 10th verse, Srila Kapila Deva, while instructing his mother, has given the following characteristics of pure devotional service. Quote, My dear mother, those who are my pure devotees and who have no desire for material benefit or philosophical speculation, have their minds so much engaged in my service that they are never interested in asking me for anything, except to be engaged in that service. They do not even beg to live in my abode with me.
Yes. This is pure devotional purpose. Natural. Here is a Krishna devotee. How much one should be glad to see a Krishna devotee. Naturally, his love for a Krishna devotee should enhance. That is pure devotion. Just like in foreign country, when one Indian meets another Indian, naturally he has got some tendency. Oh, where from you are coming? How long you are here? This conversation go on. Similarly, natural flow of Krishna consciousness is that as soon as one sees a person in Vaishnava symptoms, he should be eager to welcome him. He should be very much anxious to talk with him about Krishna, Krishna Katha. Bodhantam, parasparam, dushanti cha ramanti. Krishna conscious people should be so nice that as soon as they meet together, they talk about Krishna, they try to understand about Krishna, and they feel pleasure in that way. That is Krishna consciousness society. We are trying to make a Krishna consciousness society to give this opportunity to these people, how one should be engladdened by seeing one devotee and talk with them one another about Krishna, forgetting their designation. That is Krishna consciousness.
There are 5 kinds of liberation, namely to become one with the Lord, to live with the Supreme Lord on the same planet, to have the same features as the Lord, to enjoy the same opulences as the Lord, and to live as a companion of the Lord. A devotee, not to speak of rejecting material sense gratification, does not even want any of the 5 kinds of liberation. He is satisfied simply by discharging loving service to the Lord. That is the characteristic of pure devotion.
Yes, this is instructed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He rejects na dhanang, na janang, na sundaring, kavitang, va jagadishakang. Say, karmis, they want all these things, na dhanang, great riches, and beautiful wife, great followers. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is rejecting this. And he is rejecting also liberation. Diyamanam na grindan. A pure devotee is not interested even in liberation. That is pure devotee. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, Kita janma ho jathatua dasa, bohinmok brahma janme nahi moro asa. A devotee does not pray that give me this, give me that, give me that. No. He prays that whatever you like, if you like me to take birth as an insect, that's all right. But my only request is that I may become an insect in the house of a devotee, so that I may get the chance of prosecuting my devotional service. I may eat the remnants of foodstuff eaten by the devotees, just like Bharat Maharaj. He became a deer, but he was associating with saintly persons. He understood that I was formerly King Bharat. By chance, my mind being absorbed in the thinking of a deer, I have become a deer. All right, doesn't matter. So, he was associating with devotees. Similarly, a devotee is not interested to become liberated, go back to home, back to Godhead. Of course, even if he is not interested, Krishna takes him. Takta dehang punarjanma naiti mameti. That is natural. But that is not ours. We don't pray to Krishna for anything of sense gratification. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore said, Mama Janmani Janmani Ishare Bhavatad Bhakti Rahoituki Ahoituki Apratihata. Our simple desire is how to be engaged in the service of the Lord. Janmani Janmani. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks Janmani Janmani, that means he rejects liberation. Na dhanang na janang na kapitang vajate. This is the karmi jnani. And even the liberation, he rejects liberation. Mama Janmani. If one is liberated, then why is the question of Janmani Janmani? So, liberation is also not aspired by a devotee. These are the characteristics of pure devotion. This chapter is characteristics of pure devotional service. Pure devotional service should be without any desire. Anna vilasita sunnam. The others they are trying to make Krishna sunnam, sunnavadi. Our attempt should be to make our desires sunnam. Simply we be engaged in the service of the Lord. That is pure devotion. One paragraph more for this time.
In the above statement by Kopila Deva from the Shrimad Bhagavatam, the actual position of a pure devotee is described, and the primary characteristics of devotional service are also defined. Further characteristics of devotional service are described by Rupa Goswami with evidences from different scriptures. He states that there are 6 characteristics of pure devotional service, which are as follows. 1. Pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. 2. Pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness.
Srila Prabhupada Saraswati has described Vishang Purnam Sukhaya Vidhi Mahendradischya Kitaya Jatkarunna Katakha Vaivotang Gauramhi Vastama. When actually one comes in the platform of devotion and service, for him there is no problem. The whole world is disturbed, agitated with so many problems. But for a devotee there is no problem. Vishang Purnam Sukhaya. And they are trying, the whole world is trying to become a very big man. Somebody is trying to be a very big merchant or big industrialist or minister or this or that. And others, they are trying to occupy the post of Indra, Chandra, Devata. That is competition going on. As soon as there is some competition, even persons, demigods like Indra, Chandra, they become disturbed and they try to stop it. But a devotee has no such concern. He is not disturbed. Because he is engaged in the service of the Lord, he feels so much happy that he has no disturbance. Vishang Purnam Sukhaya. Neither he is anxious to occupy any very big post. Because for a devotee, Vidhi Mahendradischa Kitayat. He knows what is this position. Say for some years, 10 years, 20 years, 50, 100, million years, it is limited. As soon as the limited span of life is finished, either in this world, either in this planet, or in other planet. Suppose I go to the heavenly planet, I occupy the post of Indra. So what is that? It is also limited. Kine punne puno martha lokang visanti. So long you have got assets of pious activities, you can occupy such post. Then again come down. Abrahma bhavana lokan punaravartin arjuna. So in this way, we are wandering from up, down, down, up in this way. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore says, Ei rupe brahmanda bhramite kono bhagyavan ji Guru Krishna Kripa Pai Bhakti Lata Bi. We are wandering. Life after life in different species of life, different forms of life, in different planetary systems, and that is going on. This is not progress. Where is progress? You are conditioned within this universe. Where is your progress? Suppose you just like if I jump with a limited space, where is my progress? Real progress is Krishna consciousness. Tapta dehang punarjanmanaiti. If we actually want to make progress, then we must take to Krishna consciousness, so that after leaving this body, there is no more coming down to accept a material body. That is real progress. Otherwise, there is no progress. It is simply wandering with a limited space. That is not progress at all. But because we are in illusion, we are thinking it is progress. It is not progress. Thank you very much. Very good.
Pure devotional service is rarely achieved. 5. Those in pure devotional service...
Page number?
Page 2. Those in pure devotional service deride even the conception 6. Pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. Krishna is all attractive, but pure devotional service attracts even him. This means that pure devotional service is even transcendentally stronger than Krishna himself, because it is Krishna's internal potency.
So, 6 advantages. These are the immediate result of taking to Krishna consciousness. Pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. There is a song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Manasa Deho Geho Jo Kichu Moro Otpinu Tuva Pade Nanda Kishore. The purpose of this song is when we surrender to Krishna, Prane Ratri Dhya Vacha, then we get relief from all kinds of anxiety. This is very simple to understand. Everyone is in the material world. Here, everyone is full of anxiety. That is the nature of material existence. One after another problems. So, if somebody says, assures that you just depend on me, I take charge of all your problems, how much relief you will feel. Just imagine. So, an ordinary man, if some ordinary human being says, a friend, that don't worry, I shall take charge of your all affairs, don't worry. So we may doubt an ordinary man, because we know the capacity of an ordinary man. But when Krishna says that I take charge of you, then how much relief you should feel. Krishna is not ordinary man. Krishna is all-powerful, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Yogeshwara. He is the absolute truth. So when he assures that I take charge of you, iandKṛṣṇa sarva papi bhammakkhishami, gives assurance that I shall get you liberated, delivered from the reaction of all sinful activities. We suffer due to our sinful activities. That is the general meaning of suffering. For pious activities we enjoy. But in this material world, either we enjoy or suffer. The common factor is suffering. Suppose if for my pious activities I get good birth, Janmaisajya Sutasri. By pious activities, we get birth in good family, Janma, Aisajya, we get sufficient riches, wealthy family, wealthy parents, Janma Aisajya Suta, good education, and Sri, beauty. These are the results of pious activities. But to take birth in the family of a king or very rich man, the sufferings of taking birth is the same as the poor man suffers within the womb of his mother. Similarly, the rich man also suffers within the womb of his mother. The sufferings of taking birth is equal to the poor man and rich man. There is no difference. When there is disease, fever, it is less painful to the rich man and very painful to the poor man. The pain is the same. So actually, so long there is material existence, the so-called suffering and enjoying, they are on the same level. There is no difference. But if we take to Krishna consciousness, as Krishna assures, iandKṛṣṇa sarva papi bhamokkhāyishāmi, I shall get you released from all kinds of sinful activities. And that is real auspicious. Means, when Krishna takes charge, he gradually educates the devotee, Bhakti-yoga, in devotional service, so that he may go back home, back to Godhead, Krishna. That is real auspicity. In the material world, so-called auspicity, to become very rich, to become very educated, to become very beautiful, high parentage, they are also in material consideration, their auspicity, undoubtedly. But they are also adulterated with so many sufferings, threefold miseries, adhyatik, adi bhauti, adi daivik. So actually, such position is not auspicity. Real auspicity is go back to home, back to God. Therefore it is said, pure devotional service. Pure devotional service means without any material motive. Annamilashita sunnam, jnana karmadhanabhikam. So, pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. All auspiciousness means go back to home, back to God. So if we stick to pure devotional service, follow the rules and regulations, chant 16 rounds, to be engaged always in the service of the Lord, then ultimate gain is that taktādeham punarjanmanaiti māmiti. Pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. The transcendental pleasure and material pleasure, there is difference. Material pleasure means sense gratification, and transcendental pleasure means satisfaction of Krishna. A devotee is satisfied seeing Krishna is pleased. That is their satisfaction. Through Krishna. Material pleasure means direct sense perception, and spiritual pleasure means through Krishna. If Krishna is satisfied, then the devotee is satisfied. Just like a tree, the leaves and twigs become satisfied through the root of the tree. So Krishna is the root. Krishna is the origin of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhava, matta sarvam pravartati. So, transcendental pleasure means feeling of pleasure through Krishna. Just as the gopis and Krishna. Gopi, when they saw Krishna is pleased, they became happy. And Krishna, when he saw that the gopis are happy, he became happier. Again the gopis sees that Krishna is happier, they become more happy. In this way there is competition of happiness. The gopis sees Krishna happier, they feel happiness. And Krishna sees gopis happier, Krishna feels happiness. This word is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Duye lage hura huri. This is spiritual competition. So, pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental place. In the material pleasure, if I see you happy, I am unhappy. If I see you unhappy, I become happy. This is nature. I may say otherwise, but material nature is, if one is put into difficulty, then I become very happy. And if I am happy, others become envious. This is material pleasure. Whereas spiritual pleasure means that when one sees Krishna is happy, a devotee is happy, the other devotee becomes happier. That is spiritual pleasure. In the spiritual world, there is competition. But when one is advanced, the competitor becomes happy. Oh, he is so advanced, I could not do so. There is no enviousness. In the material world, if one is advanced, other who is not advanced, he is envious. This is the difference between spiritual pleasure and material pleasure. It is not difficult to understand. Material pleasure means, if you are happy, I become unhappy. If you are unhappy, then I become happy. This is material pleasure. And spiritual pleasure means, by seeing your happiness, I become happy. By seeing, but there is no distress in the spiritual world. Simply by seeing the happiness of other devotee, another devotee becomes happier. Pure devotional service is rarely achieved. That is the criteria. Pure devotional service has got so many advantages, but it is very difficult. It is very difficult. Na janma koti sukriti bhi na labhati. Pure devotional service, even after endeavoring for millions and millions of births, it is very difficult to achieve. Pure devotional service can be achieved only through the mercy of a pure devotee. Otherwise it is not possible. Mahiyasang padura jovi sekam niskincananang navrinita javat naishang matistavadur kramang ving Prishatta, what is that? The purpose is that unless one takes the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, it is not possible to become a pure devotee. Mahiyasang Padaraja. Mahiyasang, great personality, great devotee. Padaraja means the dust of the lotus feet, Abhishekam, taken to on the head. Mahiyasang Padaraju Abhishek. Niskinchana. Mahiyasang, great personality means Niskinchana. Bhagavad Bhakta is Niskinchana. He has no more material obligation. That is Bhagavad Bhakta. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Niskinchana sa Bhagavad bhajano nukas. Bhagavad bhajan means niskincha. No material obligation. No material duty. Nayam rini no kinkara rajan. Sarmatmanaji sarannam gato mukunda. Anyone who has completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, saranam saranyam gato mukundam, parihittu kartum, giving up all other duties. Taktva sadharmam charanam bhujam hare. If one takes shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, giving up all other duties, there are so many duties. You have got duty towards your family, towards your kinsmen, towards your country, towards the animals, other living entities. You have obligation to the demigods, the great saintly persons, rishis. You are reading Vedas, but it is given by Vyasdev, so we are indebted to him. Similarly, many other shastras we read, so we are indebted. Devarshi, Rishi, Devata, the demigods, we are taking sunshine. We are obliged to the sun god. We are taking moonshine. We are obliged to moonshine, moon god, the air god, Varuna. Everyone, they are helping us. We cannot do without this. You cannot live without water. You cannot live without light. You cannot live without heat. So who is supplying? Of course Krishna is supplying, but we cannot see Krishna directly. They are being supplied by different demigods. Therefore Deva Yajna is recommended. Deva Yajna means ultimately to satisfy Krishna. So these are the processes. But if one takes to Krishna consciousness, he has no more obligation to all these devatas. Devarshi, Bhutatma, Ninang, Pitrinang. We have got so many obligations. But if you take to Krishna consciousness, everyone will be pleased, and you haven't got to oblige them by your service to them. Otherwise, you are bound to give them obeisances for their beneficial contribution. So, devotional service is really achieved. Really achieved means if you achieve, then you become free from all obligation. Na janma koti bhi sukriti bhi. Tatra laudlam ekamullam. Na lambhate jad janma koti bhi sukriti. Krishna consciousness can be achieved simply by your intense desire that this life I shall try to achieve favor of Krishna. Krishna will help you. Tesham satadriktana bhajatang priti budbhagam buddhi yogam dadami. If you are actually seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness, then Krishna gives us intelligence how to approach him. So pure devotional service is really achieved, but by chance, Guru Krishna kripaya paya bhakti latandi. If we somehow or other come in contact with bona fide Guru and Krishna, Krishna is already there, we are already in touch, and if we are serious, then by grace of Krishna we get niskinchan, devotee, and by his grace we achieve to the platform of devotional service. Otherwise it is very difficult, not by executing karma, jnana, yoga, no, bhaktamam abhijana. Simply you have to take pure devotional service. Therefore it is very difficult. People do not wish to come to the pure devotional service. They want hodgepodge. Something this, something that, something that. No. Sarva dharman parityajya mameng, that is the beginning of pure devotional service. No other engagement, simply Krishna. That is pure devotion. But that is very difficult to achieve. People will not accept the simple thing. You give them big formulas, yoga system, Ashtanga yoga, they will like it. It is something. Just like if homeopathic medicine, because it has no taste, there is no trouble to drink, people do not believe in it. But if you give them some very bitter, pungent medicine, it is something. Similarly, if you give the simple process, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama iva kevalam, Kalo nasti va nasti va nasti va gatadannatha, they will not take it very seriously. Or simply by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, one will be liberated and will go to back. This is exaggeration, they will say. But if you give them some difficult job, that you press your nose in this way, you make your head downwards and you exercise in this way and do it, they will think, yes, it is so. So, things are very easy and one can achieve very easily, but they are reluctant to take the easiest process given by Krishna, given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna is giving the easiest process, that you surrender unto me, I give you all possible help. We are not prepared to do that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that you simply chant Hare Krishna, you will achieve the highest perfection. Not we are prepared. Therefore it is said, pure devotional service rarely achieved. People will not accept the simple thing. They want to make something very difficult. Then it is all right. Those in pure devotional service derive even the conception of liberation. Yes. Mukti mukulitanjali sevati asma. A devotee does not care for mukti. Mukti, why they will care for mukti? As soon as he is a pure devotee, mukti is on his leg. Why he should try for mukti? Billamangal Thakur says, Mukti mukulitanjali sevati asma. There is no need of separate endeavor for getting liberation. It is already there. Mukti mukulitanjali sevate asman dharmartha kama moksha samaya pratiksha. So don't try it. Is it working?
The picture is broken.
Yeah. So pure devotional service is the only means to attract. Those in pure devotional service derive even the conception of liberation. Mukti, Prabhupada Saraswati, Kaivalya. Mukti's another name is Kaivalya. Everything is one. One knowledge, that's all. So, Prabhupada Saraswati says, Kaivalya Narokaya. This conception of liberation, that I have become one with the Supreme, it is to a devotee just like hell. Kaivalya Narokaya. They do not give very much value to such conception, to become one with the Supreme, or liberation, mukti. And this is mokshakami, those who are aspiring after nirvhed brahmanusandha, without any difference with the Supreme Brahma. That is called mukti, liberation. And tidasapura akasa puspayate. And the Kurmis, they are aspiring after heavenly planets. Tridasapura. Tridasa means 30. So, there are more than 30 millions of demigods in different planetary systems. They are called heavenly planets. So they are Akasha Pushpa. Akasha Pushpa means a flower does not grow in the sky. It is something imaginary, phantasmagoria. Vidasapura Akasha Pushpayat. So, Kurmis are interested in the Akasha Pushpa heavenly planet. And the Jnanis are interested in Mukti, Kurmic Jnani. And Yogis are interested how to control the senses. So, Prabhupada Saraswati Maharaj says that Duddanta Indriya Kala Sarpa Patali Prutkhata Danastra. The senses are our enemies. That's all right. We also admit. The yogis try to control the senses and mind because they think of the senses just like serpent. Serpent little touch by the the tongue, immediately it causes death. So it is very dangerous. But Prabhupada Saraswati says that we are not afraid of the serpents because Prutkhata Danstrayate. The serpent is so long dangerous as long as it has got the poison teeth. Poison teeth. Prutkhata Danstrayate. See, if you take away the poison teeth, then have a big serpent teeth maybe. Nobody will be after. In the Bengal it is said, Bishnai Kulopana Chakra. If a serpent is known that his poison teeth has been taken away, so his big hood, fast, nobody will be afraid. One who knows that he has no poison teeth. A child may be afraid, but anyone knows. So, for a devotee, the senses are there, but it is not like serpent. The dangerous point of sense for sense gratification, that is taken out. That poison teeth is taken out. So therefore, a devotee is not afraid of the senses. They can easily handle the senses because the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, which means the poison teeth of the serpent of sense is taken out. Duddanta Indriya Kala Sarpa Patali Prutkhata Danastra. So, pure devotional surrender. In this way, the point is that pure devotee does not give very much value to so-called liberation. Because so-called liberation, it is in this sense that we have seen many so-called liberated persons, vimukta manina. They consider the vimukta manina. Now, you'll be pleased to hear that one of the Mayavadi sannyasis in India, very well known, his disciples came to me to invite me because they are now seeing that Mayavad philosophy has not been so much effective as devotional service, practical. So, they are now taking gradually to devotional service. They are trying to read Bhagavad, although they are habituated to malinterpret. But they have no other, they have finished their job. Now they are gradually coming to Bhakti Marga. That is natural. If one is actually sincere, after suffering the distress of impersonalism, gradually they will come to surrender to the person. Bhaunam janmanam ante jnanavan mang prapaddati. So, when one becomes devotee, jnanis, they give too much value to liberation, moksha, nidbhed brahmanusandhan. But yogis, they give too much value for controlling the senses. Karmis, they give too much value to to the acts of promotion to the heavenly planet. But for a devotee, these things are very teeny. They don't care for these things, neither for the karmis or for the jnanis or for the yogis. There, janglabdhya chaparang labhang mannate nadhikang tataha. A bhakta who has come to Krishna consciousness, pure devotional service, he has no more any desire for the resultant action of karmis, jnanis and yogis. He is so fixed up. There are many examples, just like Dhruva Maharaj. Here, when he was offered anything he wanted, actually he wanted the kingdom of his father, but when he actually became fixed up in devotional service, he said, Swamim kitarthosmi varang na jaj. I am no more to ask anything, material benediction. Borrow. No, I don't want. So, Krishna consciousness is so nice that automatically one feels fulfillment of all desires. Therefore, what they will desire for liberation, for mukti, it is most insignificant. The next is, pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. You cannot attract Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead with full opulences. See, you cannot attract Krishna by your richness, by your reputation, by your education, by your beauty, or by your strength or renunciation. No, you cannot attract Krishna by all these things, because he is already full. You cannot attract by anything, any opulence, Krishna, because he is Atmaram. But if you offer something to Krishna, it is for your benefit. The example is given, just like the original person is decorated, in the mirror, the reflection of the person is also decorated. Similarly, if you decorate the deity gorgeously, you will feel happy. Krishna has many devotees or many things for being decorated. But if you in the temple, if you offer Krishna all nice things, all nice flowers, all nice dress, all nice food, everything, all nice, then you will feel happy. That is your interest. Therefore, pure devotional service is the only means for attract Krishna. Attract Krishna, Krishna will be happy in this way, that you are doing so much for Krishna. Krishna has everything. But your devotional service, that sincerity of purpose, will attract. My Guru Maharaj used to say that do not try to see Krishna. Render your service in such a nice way that let Krishna see you. When Krishna sees you, then your mission is perfect. We cannot see Atasya Krishna Namadi Navahavis Gaya Indriyayi. We cannot perceive Krishna by our senses. But when our senses are engaged in satisfying Krishna, then Krishna sees us. Sameva Spurata. And when Krishna sees us, then our life is successful. And how Krishna can see us? Simply by our devotion. Otherwise, you cannot satisfy Krishna by opulence, by education, by scholarship, by beauty, by riches. No, these things Krishna has all perfectly. He is full with all these opulences. Bhaktya mama vijanati. If you want to attract Krishna, then be engaged in pure devotional service. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
On page number 2. Relief from material distress. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that one should surrender unto Him giving up all other engagements. The Lord also gives His word there that He will protect such surrendered souls from the reactions of all sinful activities. Srila Rupa Goswami says that the distresses from sinful activities are due both to the sins themselves and to sins committed in our past lives.
Now, relief from material distress. There are two kinds of activities, pious activities and impious activities. Generally we understand by performing impious activities we suffer, and by performing pious activities we enjoy. But actually in the material world there is no enjoyment. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami explains that Daite Bhadra Bhadra Sakali Sama. In the material world, in the world of duality, either we think this is pious or either we think this is impious. They are practically on the same platform. We take it as pleasure. Just like several times I have explained, people here in this material world, they are working very hard all day and night, and when they gain some material profit after working so hard, they think that this is profit, this is happiness. Actually, where is the happiness? If one is working very hard, where is the happiness? This is called illusion. In the Shastra it is said, generally people in this material world, they are